like we know so much about the other generation. And there's something about, like, they pretend they're not in the room. Like, so, you know, just pretend that you're actually 60, okay? And that's the problem with having generational transitions, because we tend to want to preach about what we know about generations, okay? And every generation lives exactly to its attributes. We also know that, of course, right? Right. And not only that, but since the dawning of time, the oldest generation has always said the next generation, the younger generation, has got it all wrong. Yes. So I want to say all that because for those of you who are not boomers in the room or customers and can therefore appreciate the boomers, you do appreciate the boomers, right? I do. Okay. I apologize in advance, but for the benefit of the greater good, I do want us to acknowledge that there are differences in the generations. One of the biggest differences in the generations has nothing to do with when that generation was born. It has to do with the fact that they're a different age. And the problem with all this wonderful millennial research is all we've done is looked at these poor millennials as they have gotten out of high school and out of college and into their first job and making their first decisions. And all of a sudden we think we know absolutely everything. So the interesting thing in the association research is Xers are joining at the same rate as baby boomers joined and got involved. Those of you that are Xers in the room know that. Somehow we said you were slackers. Little did we remember that we got engaged and involved at about the same age that you're getting engaged. Go figure. So what happens in generational studies is we get all tied up in the generational and the 17 years that define that generation and forget that that generation does have to go through college, does have to, if they're going to get married and have a family, that's another life cycle, does have to get a career. We forget about all of that. We forget that that does define about how much time that they have. So I've said all of that just because I'm going to talk now about millennials, and I wanted to make sure you knew that in my opinion, their research is still too fresh to know. But having said all of that, boomers are digital immigrants. We were invited in. There is a saying that my son, and I have 3 millennial sons, they say to me, my son got very upset recently when he realized I was taking a pic. Okay, so we were in Getty. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. So, senior prom.